Okay, so today I'm going to do a video on 12 steps to healing depression, or 12 tips for healing depression, and it's really just based around my own personal experience. Um, I guess depression for me was something that happened during my teens a lot. I just never felt completely happy, and I never understood really why. It seemed that everyone was sort of happy with the status quo, and my friends seemed to, play. And I don't know, there was just something about this world that kind of didn't really seem completely true to me at the time. And so there was always this something just niggling away at me that I felt this underlying unhappiness. And I couldn't understand it because my upbringing was good, and I was well looked after, but yet there was just this sort of unhappiness. The only thing that I found a lot of joy in was music, and I was a singer and dancer and songwriter, and this was something that I would always find a lot of joy in. And during my 20s, I also had quite a spell of depression again, because I was in this sort of music business, and I would be elated when things were going really well and it seemed like success was just on the horizon, and then something would fall through, and then I would just be like depressed again. And it just seemed like, I couldn't get the success that I wanted, and so I was unhappy. But even apart from that as well, there was just, wanting to know what it really felt like to kind of be loved, I guess. I kind of felt like, what would it be like to be really loved? And also just to be really happy. So I started playing about with meditation, and what happened was that I experienced this amazing bliss, and I discovered this incredible bliss that stayed with me for months, and I felt like I'd been touched by God, basically. And that's really what started my spiritual journey, because it was like, oh my goodness, and it sort of lasted for about 3 or 4 months, and then it sort of faded. And I was like, well, how can I return to that? How can I recreate that? And then I also went, after that, I kind of went, down a spell where there was some mental sort of health imbalances, and I just knew that I had to put myself together again. So it was like putting this jigsaw puzzle together again to find true happiness and joy. And so my journey of evolution has really been about rediscovering that joy and that purpose. And I feel now, there's a lot more to my journey, which I might go over another time, but I want to kind of get on to the tips that I've got today. But it was just to give you a brief sort of insight into my journey. And so that's what it's been about, is coming back to that joy, finding that sense of inner purpose and joy. And so I'm feeling really good. And so today, I just want to get back to this. So I'm going to share 12 steps to healing depression. And again, this is just purely based on my own experience. So step 1, I think it's finding a bigger purpose than yourself. Because a lot of the time, we're very self-focused, and, there's a lot of self-judgment that goes on, especially, when you're in the mind state of being depressed. And so there's a tendency to think very negative thoughts about, what you haven't achieved, what you haven't done in your life, and how everything's just going shit for you. And, there's just this, and then it just keeps going bump, 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 down, 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 until you're in, just a void, a vacuum, a hole. So basically, what's helped me is, finding a bigger purpose. It's taking the attention off yourself. Now, I'm kind of going to cover a little bit about self-love in this as well, because I don't mean taking attention off yourself and self-love, but I mean taking attention off the preoccupation with me, my life, my job, my money, my career, my relationships, all these kind of things that we're all constantly preoccupied with. So it's about taking your attention off that and finding something bigger than you to put your attention onto. So basically finding purpose. And one of the ways that you can find your purpose is to just start asking yourself, what is it that really brings me alive, if anything at all? Or what are your passions and interests? What are you good at? What are your innate gifts and talents that are special and unique to you? And then how can you share that with the world? Or is there something that you're really passionate about, like, for example, animal welfare, or, saving the whales or something like that? Is there something that you're really passionate about that you can give your attention to, and then share that talent with the world? So finding a bigger purpose, finding something that's bigger than you to kind of get you out the focus of me. And so focus on how you can contribute and make this world a better place by adding your positivity, by adding your talents, by adding your creativity in some way. There's great changes going on this planet just now, and people are waking up to their self-empowerment and how they can contribute and, raise the consciousness on this planet. So, just know that you are here for a specific purpose, and that your journey has value and relevance, and that you're here to learn and grow and share and love and laugh, and that, you're worthy. You're worthy to enjoy a good life. You're worthy for all the good things that this life can give you. You're worthy to receive love, abundance, fulfillment in your work or your career, whatever it is you want to do. So just know that you have purpose and that you're not alone. There's a lot of people on this planet that are going through major changes right now. And so you're never alone. You're not alone in your challenges. So find something bigger than yourself. And even if it is just like, being of service locally, joining, giving to some sort of charity, or helping the lady down the road, anything that can kind of get you out of your own focus or preoccupation with yourself and your life. So helping others can boost your confidence and well-being, and will help you also to socialize and network and be more open to opportunities that could come to you as well. So get yourself out there. And I know that that's easier said than done, when you're in the thick of a depression. But what we want to do is, my tips today are really kind of more about preventative measures. So you want to catch yourself before you go down that, that slide. So it's about a lifestyle that can keep you in a state of well-being and keep your mental health more in balance, so that you can avoid the depressions. Okay, so step 2 is self-love. And this is just simple. It's love yourself. And don't judge your value according to someone else's treatment of you. So, because quite often we're looking for validation outside of ourselves, for our own worthiness and our own sense of love or self-respect. So what I'm saying is, love yourself first and foremost, and don't look for it from other people to validate your worth and your value. Just know that you're worthy and that you have immense value. You've got to know this, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. If you think about the miracle that brought you here, it's like, how you got to this adult from, sliding down the birth canal. I mean, there's a history there. There's a support. You've been supported all your life to just be here and still be alive. The fact that you're alive means that you're meant to be here, and that you've got something to give and share and offer the world. So please know that you're valued, and that your presence here on earth is important, and that you do have something worthy to contribute. So yeah, self-respect, and know that you're worthy to live a happy and fulfilling life. And then ask yourself, what steps can you take to love yourself today? What steps can you take to love yourself today? Step number 3, and this is related a little bit to step number 1, which is just to pick, maybe pick a person that needs your help. Is there someone that you know that could really do with your help? Is there someone that you can share a meal with and invite round for a meal? Is there someone that needs help with their shopping? Look for ways to be of service to others, to get you out of your preoccupation with yourself. So, yeah, looking to be of service. Practicing service to others. And also I'm going to add in there, talk to somebody, talk to a friend, and that it's okay to ask for help, and that it's okay to just find a good friend. Find a good friend that will support you in helping you shift out of the depression. There's two different ways to approach that though, because if you phone up your friend and you meet up with your friend and you talk about the things that you think are making you depressed, and I've got no job, and I've got no this, and I've got no that, and no, they won't know how to really help you. But if you say, look, I've just got this depression, and I want to change my life around a little bit, will you help me take action steps? Will you help support me in making the changes that I want to make? And then they can maybe help you out a little bit more. But definitely having a listening ear and a friend when you need it, someone you can talk to, is really a must. Okay, step number 4, self-responsibility, and that is just realizing that you are ultimately responsible for your life. And this was a big one for me, because this was a big life changer for me. Just realizing that, it's my mind, it's the emotions going on in my body, it's my body, it's my life. I have to take charge. It has to ultimately be down to you, because people can advise you, people can help you, but ultimately you are responsible, and you're the only one that can change it around. You're the only one that can take the steps, and even if that means just going and getting a counsellor or speaking to your GP, that's a positive step in the right direction. Realising that maybe you do need help, maybe you do need support. So don't be too proud to go and seek the support that you need. That is part of taking responsibility. Self-care. So that's part of taking practical steps that you can do to help yourself. Self-care. What's your diet like? Are you exercising? Are you getting enough sleep? So look at the practical ways that you can, the lifestyle changes that you can possibly make to support your well-being and health, and then start taking small steps towards that. So that might be getting up in the morning and just going out for a walk, or meeting up with a friend and going for a swim, or making a nice meal and inviting your friend round, making sure that you do get enough rest. Because something that was another big changer for me with depression was realizing that what I started to ask myself was, when there was the depression, I would just kind of ask myself, wait a minute, am I just tired? Am I tired at the moment? Am I actually tired? And because what I would notice is that the tendency to have the negative thinking, the negative thoughts, would usually coincide with low energy and basically just tiredness. So I noticed that there was a pattern of feeling tired, and then the mind slipping into, oh, I haven't got enough money, can't do this, can't do that, and it's so easy to think like that, because what happens when you're physically depressed, the mind can be active, because we're not physically moving the energy. So it's almost like the energy stagnating, and then the mind takes over, And this is the one that's being active, while the body's just like, oh, I just need to rest. So something that I found really helpful was just recognizing when I was tired. And this is something that still is something that I'm aware of and practice today. So if I notice myself just feeling a little bit like, I don't know, there could be a bit of sadness there, or maybe there's, I tend not to really think negatively, thank God, but, if I do notice a sensation of, it's like, I just ask, am I tired? And usually I am. And if that's the case, then get rest. Somebody once said depression phonetically sounds like deep rest. So make sure that you are giving yourself the rest. If you are physically just feeling really tired, then rest. And this comes back to the lifestyle changes. It's looking at, are you eating correctly? Are you eating in ways that are going to give you energy? Because if you're just on a junk food diet, then yes, you're going to continually be running your system down. You're going to be feeling continually tired. And you're not going to be able to shake that until you start to make some of those changes, those lifestyle changes that will support and energize you. So step number 5 is mind your thoughts. And this is about catching negative thoughts early, and is a little bit on what I was talking about there, which is to be aware of when your thoughts are starting to go negative. Because we're not thinking negatively all the time, generally speaking. Depression can be something that comes and goes, right? So it comes in waves and cycles. So when you're feeling kind of all right, and you're maybe thinking about, so-and-so's coming around tonight, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That's all kind of like, positive. So when you start to notice yourself slipping, if you can catch yourself really early on, then this will prevent you following the trail all the way down to the bottom of the barrel, basically. So you don't want to go down there. You want to catch it early. And so this is about mindfulness, or being self-aware enough to observe the thoughts and the thinking and see where you're at. So it's kind of tuning into where you are. And this is something you need to do every single day, and moment to moment. It's a moment to moment thing. So catch the negative thoughts early, and you can do a couple of things. You can examine the thoughts themselves and say, well, are they true? Because if you're saying things like, oh, I'm no good, I'm hopeless, I can't do this, can't do that. I mean, that's just not true. It's not true. It's your opinion at that time. It's your perspective at that time. That's not your friend's opinion of you. The people that love you, it's not their opinion of you. So you're projecting this onto yourself. So you're doing it, So that's another thing to realize, is that you're the one doing it. And if you keep doing it and keep doing it, you're going to end up down there again. So you want to try and catch yourself early. So what I've found helpful in that is meditation. So meditating daily, especially first thing in the mornings, when I like to do it, before, the mind just gets on a roll, of, blah, 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 this, that, and starts thinking about all the things you want to do. So if you practice meditation just as you're waking up, it trains your mind into becoming the detached observer. It trains your mind into releasing thought and just being in the I am presence, your true nature. So if you can just rest in your I am presence every single day, every single morning, even if it's only for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just take that time, that space to yourself. That's self-love as well. Love yourself enough to just tune into your innermost core, the essence of your being, which is peace, which is clarity, which is joy. It's where the true joy lies. That is where your true essence is. So if you can just tune into the I am presence, the space beyond thought is who you truly are. So this will start to shatter the mirror of the illusory self. which contains all the lack programming and all the beliefs that you've acquired throughout your life. So if a parent said to you, you're no good, you're useless, you can't do this, you can't do that, then that's part of your programming, which will end up being your self-talk today. So you've got to change that. And one of the ways that naturally dissolves, it just naturally dissolves, the more that you connect with the light of your being, the more that you connect with your true self, the space within, the more that these illusory thoughts just dissolve. So that's tip number 5. It's all about minding your thoughts, being self-aware, and being aware of the negative thoughts and catching them before you go down. And meditation is one of the best ways to train yourself to be in the witness consciousness state. And then you'll find that that starts to kind of spread out in your day, that the more you do that, and especially if you go over 30 minutes a day in that state of meditation and practice it later on as well, or whenever you can think of to do it, whenever you can think of just to relax and sink into that state, then that will help you sort of see that the thoughts are not who you truly are. It will help you to kind of separate yourself in a way from the thoughts, because the thoughts are not who you truly are. They're programs. They're just energy. They're just energy and programs. So it's about being aware of the programming and starting to release it and let it go. So step number 6 is stop judging yourself and your emotions. And so don't judge yourself if you do feel depressed, or if you do feel sadness, or if you do feel, frustrated or angry or whatever. So it's about accepting your emotions as movement and sensation in the body. This is something that helped me, was just I started to realize and just become the observer of the energetic states. And so I was able to see the emotions as a phenomena. And I liked that, because that helped me a lot when I had extreme anxiety. I had a lot of anxiety for years, and I couldn't go out. I couldn't even just walk up the road. I was like attached to my house. I was attached to the box that was my bedroom. I couldn't leave. And what helped me with that was just starting to experience and realize that it was a kind of sensation in the body. And so I didn't have to attach or even label it as anxiety or depression or sadness or whatever. It was just about stop labeling and stop judging, and just observe as an energetic phenomena, an appearance. So it's like the true self is like this beautiful blank canvas, infinite, where infinite creativity comes from and sprouts up out of. So, but to see these phenomena like anxiety or depression or whatever as just appearances upon the canvas, and know that I was the canvas itself. And this helped me a lot, really. And what it does is it helps release resistance as well, because quite often there's a tendency to judge what's going on in the body, to judge the anxiety, to judge the depression. And the thing you want to do is start loving yourself without judging the states of being that are passing through you on a day-to-day basis. So can you just observe those states of being without judgment? And that helps to release a resistance, because resistance is like a form of tension and contraction, which will create further anxiety and further frustration. So don't be frustrated about your depression or your anxiety. You have to kind of like start to appreciate that you're on a healing journey, that you are healing, and that you love yourself enough to, like a child, just like see it as like a child, like these emotions. Because a lot of the time the emotions that we're experiencing are probably linked to past trauma. So you want to soothe that. You want to soothe the inner child. You want to soothe the frustrations, the depression or sadness. See it like your children. Just see all these emotional states like your children. And how would you treat your children, if they weren't feeling good? So soothing helps to release the resistance. And so that's a kind of form of self-love as you're doing that. So don't follow negative thoughts because they're illusions. And something that helped me was Ho'oponopono, which is the practice of love and forgiveness. So when these things show up, you can actually just say, thank you. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate that you're showing up today to show me that you're there. And I just want to say thank you. And I love you. And I release you and honor you for being there. And, you can practice that kind of thing as well. And that really helps to release, because it's all about letting go of stress and tension. So wherever we're creating stress or tension in our bodies, you want to start to forgive yourself, love yourself, and release. Or just simply allow. But allow is kind of like a form of release. So by allowing, you're releasing. Okay, step number 7. Change your focus. Realize that you are the creator of your life, that you are a powerful creator, and that you can do whatever you want, and that you can turn your life around. Realize that you have the power, that you have the capacity to change your life and your, depression or anxiety. You have the power to turn it around. I managed it, okay? And if I can do it, you can do it. Lots of people have healed themselves. So you just got to know that lots of people have been through the exact same thing that you're going through right now. So just know that, and that they've managed to come through it, okay? As I say, back to that, this too shall pass. It's not with you for life, okay? This is a phase that you're going through. You will get through it. And that, especially if you become proactive in self-responsibility and self-care, you are definitely on your way to healing yourself, okay? So knowing that you are the creator and that you can change this around. So this brings me a little bit to the law of attraction as well, because this is something that helped me on my journey. I had been reading The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, and one of the things that was said in this book was energy flows where attention goes. And the other saying, you get more of what you focus on. So these were two profound statements that, I don't know, I just kind of got it. I just got it with these two statements. And they had such an impact on me, because in relation to my depression at the time, what it made me realize was that if I was focusing on my depression, if I was focusing on the negative thinking and believing the negative thinking that was making me feel worse and worse, if I was giving my energy, my attention to that, I was giving it more energy. And you get more of what you focus on. So I realized that I was perpetuating it by giving it my attention, by just purely giving it my attention. So I realized that I had to switch my attention, I had to switch my focus. And another statement in the law of attraction is that it said, focus on what you want and not what you don't want. because you get more of what you focus on. So if you get more of what you focus on, why would you want to keep focusing or giving attention to the negative, self-depreciating thoughts? Why would you want to give more attention to that? Because it's like a spoiled child. If you keep giving it the attention, it just keeps doing the behavior, right? So it keeps perpetuating the behavior. So it's about kind of just shifting the focus. And I realized that your thoughts create your experience and your reality. So you have to change what you're thinking about in order to create better circumstances. So if you think like you're depressed because of this, that, and that, then if you're thinking in terms of lack of what you don't have, and oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, and I can't do this, and I can't do that, then what you're doing is you're just perpetuating that. It's a self-perpetuating cycle. So you're giving more energy to it, and it's just going to repeat and repeat and repeat. And the only way to break it is to decide that you're just not going to give that any more attention. You're going to shift your focus. And so you have to shift your focus on what you do want, what you want to believe about yourself and your life. And so what you're really doing is replacing your programming, because your self-talk has been generated out of your experiences of life so far, and also back to your early experiences and what you've absorbed from society and your schooling and your parenting and the people around you. So if that program isn't getting you the results that you want now in your life, then you have to reprogram yourself. You have to change the program, or not have a program at all and be neutral. But whatever it is, you have to dissolve the negative programming so that it's not having such an effect on your life now. I talk a lot about this in my book, Tune Into Bliss. It's on Amazon if you're interested. I go into a lot of detail about the programming and the conditional kind of beliefs and thoughts that we inherit from our life and our childhood. So basically you have to replace the programming, shift your focus onto what feels good. It's really, really simple. But sometimes the simplest things are just so, I don't know, it just seems like evasive, you know, it just seems like, you know, it's so easy, it's simple. But it has to come from an aha moment, you know, which is what happened to me. It was like, right, I get it. So it's like, if I keep giving my energy to this, it's just going to keep going and going. So shifting your focus, you have to start feeding your mind. You have to start reprogramming your self-talk. You have to start thinking well of yourself. You have to start loving yourself. You have to start saying, you know what, I can do this. I can do anything I want. I can achieve what I want in life. I can do anything. So basically, it's about reprogramming your mind to the greater possibilities, the infinite possibilities for you. So reprogram your mind so that you can become more of your authentic, true, great self. Your best version. What is your best version? You know, if I was to say to you, just imagine for 10 minutes, what's your best version of you? You know, if you could be anything, or be, do, or have anything, what would that be like? You know? And you can use your imagination in this way and practice that. And you'll start to train your mind, because the subconscious mind works a lot in imagery. So start to use the imagery, which can help you. So this is part of the reprogramming. You can visualize your best version. And if you do this, especially just before you go to sleep at night, that's the most potent time to reprogram your subconscious mind. And I like to practice the visualization just before going to sleep. It's a good time. So yeah, you want to reprogram yourself, showing yourself who your best version is, and then feeding your mind the positive perspectives and outlook that are going to support you on that journey. So start saying, I can do this, okay. And switch over to problem solving rather than problem indulging. Switch over to problem solving instead of problem indulging. Because that's a mindset that's kind of linked to a lot of successful people. It's problem solving. They're always problem solving. Elon Musk, problem solving. So switch over to the logical problem solving mind. And that's to do with your self-talk as well. Okay, so that's step number 7. Okay, I'm just going to put my notes up here. This is turning into a very long video. I hope you're still staying with me. Okay, so step number 8 is to get into nature. This is a nice one. So that was quite heavy going there. So this is a nice, relaxing one. So get into nature, and because, you know, that's where we came from. Today we're in the cities, we're in buildings, we're exposed to electromagnetic radiation from other people's televisions, other people's programming choices, you know, what they're sending out, the signals they're sending out, the mobile phones, the advertising, the media, you know, it's all around us. So basically, you go into nature and it's like, you know, you can relax, you can listen to the birds' song, because the birds are just in touch with source. They're in touch with source. So they help us retrain ourselves to be in touch with our source as well. So going into nature is energizing. You know, you can breathe in that ozone, that fresh air, that badass prana. Or no, it's good ass prana, isn't it? Good ass prana. Fresh air, and oxygenate the blood. So it's very important as well to oxygenate your blood. And this helps to alkalize the system and will bring calmness. So alkalizing the body with nature and plant-based foods help to do this as well. So when you're eating a plant-based diet, it's more alkalizing, it's more energizing. Living foods themselves are giving you that life force. So alkalize your body with plant-based foods, and you know, you could try that. Eating greens are very alkalizing and calming to the system. So if you have a lot of anxiety, green juices will really help with that. So that's step number 8. Just get into nature, go for a nice walk and oxygenate your blood, and you know, just enjoy the peace and the tranquility. So step number 9 is really back to the diet there, to enhance, to expand on the diet. So eat a balanced, life-giving diet. Now this is just my perspective. I've been a vegan for, oh goodness, it's quite a long time now, about 15, 16 years. I was a raw foodist for 13 years, and now I'm just, you know, a mix of cooked food and raw foods. Something that I kind of wanted to post on Facebook one time, which was going to be, well, how do you expect to feel good if you're eating animals? And this was to do with, if you think about the slaughtering of animals, you know, and how they feel, you know, apparently there's the highest stress levels in the people, the workers in like abattoirs, because it's just very, very traumatic and stressful. And if you can imagine, you can understand why, because the environment, if the animals, which they know, they're not daft, they're psychically tuned in, they know that something's going down and that they're coming to the end of their lives. And so there is incredible anxiety pumping through the blood of these animals, and you know, hormones that are being released. And And so there's incredible anxiety going through the animals just before they are about to be killed, because life wants to live. It's the instinct, you know, every living instinct, every living being's instinct is to survive. So it's, you know, so if that life is being threatened, there is anxiety, because, you know, life is a miracle. You know, life is just a miracle. And so the animals have all that anxiety going on before they're about to die. And if we're consuming animals, I don't know, but it doesn't feel to me that, you know, we're going to feel our best by consuming animals when they've been through that process in order for us to eat. You know, so how about practicing compassion? How about practicing compassion on a day-to-day basis that doesn't involve the suffering of another living being so that you can eat? Because, you know, if we're suffering, right, if we're suffering from anxiety, depression, you know, and all that stuff, how can we expect to kind of feel good if we're causing anxiety and suffering of other living beings? So, you know, they say what goes around comes around, you know. So if you want to kind of feel better, I suggest trying a plant-based diet and developing a compassionate sense of being that doesn't involve the suffering of other living beings in order for you to eat. And you'll probably start feeling better anyway. So why not try it? There's plenty of vegan challenges. I think Infinite Waters does a 7-day vegan challenge on YouTube that you could try. And I've got my own, I've got some raw food recipe books as well on thisgoodfeeling.com and on Amazon that you could get some recipes from. And there's support groups. There's loads of vegan support groups on Facebook as well. And I've also got a Facebook page called Right to Life for All. So practicing compassion, I truly believe, and this is just my own belief, that there will be greater peace and joy on planet Earth within the human population when we stop creating fear and anxiety within the animal population. So developing compassion, I feel, is part of our conscious upgrading and our conscious evolution, so that there can be benefit to all creatures on the planet. And as I say, you also benefit from the increased nutritional benefits from plant-based eating as well, whilst you're making a difference to the lives of others. So going back to the first point, which was to find a purpose greater than yourself, you could just make it about, well, you know what, I'm not going to eat animals anymore. I'm going to, you know, contribute. I'm not going to harm in order to eat. So that would be having a greater cause and, you know, a greater purpose. So step number 10 is to examine your environment. So this is all about looking at your living space and asking if it's supporting your well-being and creativity. Is your living space beautiful and inspiring? And if not, why not start making a few changes? You know, because we spend, I don't know, we must spend at least 70% in our houses every day. So create an environment that brings you pleasure, okay? So we want to increase pleasure in our lives when we can, which is part of self-love. So without obviously harming animals, okay? So having a look at your environment and seeing if there's anything that you can change that will increase your well-being and enjoyment. So anything that just, you know, it could be changing the pictures, it could be buying yourself a new duvet that's got a nice pattern on it, it could be tidying up, creating a clutter-free living space so that you can feel, a sense of space. I know for me, I can't live in clutter because, I don't know, it seems to affect my clarity and my creativity. So by having a clutter-free space, I feel like, I can then focus on my creativity. And of course, Feng Shui is all about that as well, which is about creating the space for the flow of energy to circulate in our environment. So have a look at your environment. And this means also your day-to-day, what are you doing? Are you doing a job that's not fulfilling you? Is there, can you start making changes there? Is there something you can study that you would prefer to be doing in your life? So this is a bit like looking at your occupation and your purpose and your career. Are you doing what you love? Are you following your passions? Are you following your highest resonance? Are you following what brings you joy? And so can you take small steps every day to change that in some way, or to do the things that are going to bring you more fulfillment and pleasure in your day-to-day living? So taking baby steps to create a life you enjoy, and practicing compassion, being of service to others, loving yourself, positive self-talk. Something else I just want to add in. So yeah, looking at your environment and seeing if there's anything you can change there to support your well-being. Create a living space that really feels good to you. Okay. So step 11 is back to the positive self-talk, and it's I am statements. Use the I am statements. And I kind of touched briefly on that earlier. So start writing out or creating I am statements. I am getting better every day. I am taking baby steps to improve my well-being and health now. I am living a life that I enjoy. I am, beautiful. I am worthy. I am worthy to live a life of my dreams. How many of us can say that? I'm worthy to live the life of my dreams. And then start living it. Just, the little things. Start from where you are. If that means just getting out for a walk in nature every day, or like trying a new plant-based recipe, or going for a swim, whatever it is. Every day do something that enhances your well-being. Okay, so step 12 is forgive your past and just start now. So no matter where you are in life, you can always start now. You can always start making changes now to improve your well-being, to live the life that you want to live. Forgive your past. It's a big one. Is there anyone in your life? Is there anyone in your life that you need to forgive? Now, this could be yourself, or it could be family members, it could be friendships, relationships from the past. Have a wee look. Have a wee look and see if there's anyone or anything or any situation that, caused a bit of trauma at the time. See if there's any resistance still there when you think about that thing or that person. If there is, then it's time to forgive it. And forgiveness helps to release the resistance. It helps to let the energy flow in that area where we feel it. It might be in your solar plexus. And start to just breathe, take a few deep breaths, and you can say, I release you with love and wish you well. Or I would like to release this situation or this circumstance. Or I forgive myself in relation to this circumstance that happened 5 years ago or whenever it did. So self-forgiveness and forgiveness of others. And start now. It's never too late to change things around. If you're alive, there's hope. If you're still here, there's hope. So just smile at yourself and be happy. I know be happy is a bit kind of, but smile at yourself and know that you're not alone. people have been through these things before, and that you can empower yourself and that you can improve the quality of your life and your well-being from today. Another thing that really helped me as well was just learning gratitude. I even picked up a tip in one of the books I read, and it was just to hold a crystal in your hand every night before you went to bed. I use a rose quartz, and hold that crystal, because crystal is supposed to amplify things. And it's just a permission slip, really, but you're holding the crystal and giving gratitude. Think of as many things as you possibly can to be grateful for. So you can have like a gratitude stone, I think a lot of people call it. So it could be anything. I could be holding this lip balm and it's my gratitude stick for today. So anything like that. Think of 10 things. Think of 10 things every morning and every night that you're grateful for, even if it's just for being able to stroke your cat that day. So what I found is that simplicity rules. The simpler the things that I can be grateful for, the more the joy seems to flow through. Like, if I can just tap into the bird song and feel that in my being, or watch, watch the birds flying across the sky, or, the wind and how it blows the leaves and the trees. There's so much that we can be grateful for. And I think that gratitude really helped me as well come out of depression, because when you begin to get a sense of how incredibly valuable and how incredibly auspicious the gift of life is, and how I can't even think of the words just now, but it's just when you really realize how amazing it is just to be alive right now, how amazing is it that I can just talk to you, and you can hear this. How amazing is it that you can hear it? How, when you really think back to, I don't know, just over your life and all the different things you've experienced and been through, and the fact that you grew from a baby and somebody was there to change your diapers, and you've grown up, and you managed to get through school okay, and you've survived you've survived everything up until this point in your life. You're still here, and I just think, wow, it's amazing. And so waking up in the morning and just being alive for another day in this body, and having a body, there's lots of people that don't have their mobility, but if you're one of those people that does have their mobility, and can get up and walk to the kitchen and make yourself a cup of tea effortlessly, you don't have to get up and sort yourself in a wheelchair and all this stuff. And a lot of people that are in wheelchairs have developed an incredible positive attitude, even about their disability. But for those of us that are so fortunate and that don't even have these disabilities, how amazing is it that we can just walk down the road, we can just stand up? To me, that's something worth really being grateful for. And I think that the more that we can tap into gratitude for the simplest things in our life, even a phone call from a friend, or a text message, or a cat, it I don't know, it does something. It frees up energy. It creates joy. It increases the joy, or it's certainly done that for me. It's increased my ability to access and experience greater states of joy in my life. So gratitude, you can start practicing that. So yeah, that was all just about forgiving your past, forgiving people in your past, and gratitude. And I think that's it really. And just to summarize, it's, just taking those baby steps that you can every day. you know, if you can find something bigger than you, and that might mean just giving in some way. How can you give? What can you give to another or contribute to the world at this time? Come out of your bubble. Come out of your bubble. It's not about you. Don't take anything personally. Don't take your life personally. You're here for a bigger reason. You're here for something bigger. So take those baby steps. Practice creating a life that you enjoy. Practice compassion and being of service to others, while still loving yourself and honouring yourself and having self-respect. Increase your self-value. Know that you are priceless. You're absolutely priceless. There's no money that can buy you, you know. Everything that you've been through, from a baby to an adult, it's amazing that you're here. So just know that you are loved by the one that created you, and by many, many others that you know in your life right now, and those you've yet to meet and inspire. Have a good day. Lots of love and light. I love you. Bye.